Hi, so today is about bronzers and highlight declutter. These two containers are all highlights, and I have like some extra highlight here, and this is all bronzer. So throughout the several months, almost a year of doing Project Pan, I figured out one thing that, especially bronzer, if it's a bronzer that works for me, I don't really care if I use it every day, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really care if I have like anything to rotate. I don't find a different bronzer that's very excited for me because they just all looks the same. As how much of a makeup lover I am, I don't think this bronzer is too much for me, but it's like if I don't enjoy to, rotate my bronzer that much, if I have one thing that's worked for me, I can just use that one thing, then why would I like hold on to this much, right? And also highlight. I feel like there's one thing about highlight that's, yes, there's a lot of types of highlight, but a lot of times they ended up looking quite similar on my skin. So I think I have a lot of highlights that I do really love, but I don't really reach for that much. So this probably because I have like too many like highlights that's like in the same category. So I think my goal for today is I'm gonna downsizing my highlight collection to at least into half. I don't know how many I have right now, let's count. Okay, I have 19 powder and 14 these liquid ones. I think I am gonna I'm gonna try to at least downsizing like about a little bit more than 10, because I have now in total 33. I do want to downsizing it into under 20 in total. So for bronzer, I really don't want to keep much. Like I said, it wasn't something that bring me that much joy that like to hold on to. Let's just start with bronzer. I think that will be a little easier because I do have in mind what I want to declutter. So this is actually a face palette from NARS, and you can see the bronzer part is almost done. I don't even know, this is like, I think this is hardly 1 gram, maybe like even like 0.5 or something. I can easily finish this, so of course I'm not gonna get rid of that. This is the shade Laguna, and this is actually, even though it was in a face palette, it's a bigger size than their like a regular Laguna bronzer. I think the regular Laguna bronzer in this kind of packaging has 8 grams of product, and this has 10, and I have almost finished it. So maybe one day, if I really finished all of my powder bronzers, I probably will even repurchase. This is one of my favorite bronzer shade. I think it's just a good mix of like cool tone and warm tone. It just somehow works on my olive skin tone very well. So the next would be this Tom Ford cream bronzer. I think this is like a very cold product that everybody loves. But for me, I really don't feel like I reached for this that much, and it was like in a quite good condition. So I just don't want to just hold on to it. And on top of that, it's cream. It goes off probably pretty quickly. Maybe it's better to have somebody else to use this. Well, it's still good. So that's a declutter. So this is actually a limited edition. I think it's better to say it's a contour powder, but it was like labeled as a blush, but I don't think anybody can use this as a blush. it's a contouring powder, and in a video of me like giving these products one more chance or something like that, I did try to make this one work because it's like too cool toned, and it did work in that video. So it's something that may be good to have. But for how long I have had this product, I probably only reached for this like 3 times, 2 to 3. So for that frequency, I don't think I really should hold on to this, you know. So I think maybe somebody else can enjoy that. And this is a Japanese brand called Addiction, and this is their you know, the cream duo. It's kind of similar concept with the Tom Ford one. It's pretty, but the problem is, do I need this? Right? So I think this is a maybe pile. I will decide a little later. This NARS one, I actually want to hold on to it because first, I do love NARS bronzers. I love their formula. It's not too pigmented and it's not like too powdery that you would pick up too much. And I do want to keep at least one powder bronzer, and this one is like almost done, you know. So I think I want to keep this. This is just too huge, too huge. I don't think I can like finish this like any day. And even though it's a nice bronzer, it's a great bronzer, but first of all, I rarely remember to use this, and second of all, it's not like better than anything else. A lot of people really love this and say it's their favorite, and I can understand that because this bronzer, the shade is so pretty and it blends so perfectly on your skin, like without much effort. But yeah, I just don't want to hold on to a bronzer that's this big. Let's see. There's 15 grams of product in here, and I just don't think I can ever finish a bronzer that's this big. It probably will take like 5 years or something, because this NARS bronzer, literally the 10 gram, literally took like 4 or 5 years. So yeah, that's another bronzer that's gonna go. And this is the Riffy or Refi bronzer. Actually, this bronzer is very similar to the original formula of the NARS, not NARS, Chanel, you know, the Soleil de Teint Chanel that everybody loves. I don't know if this is similar to the new formula, but the old formula is quite similar. So I do love this formula, but the question is, if I have that Chanel bronzer, do I need this one? I think the answer is probably no, so this one's is gonna go. And this is a bronzer stick from it's a So Soft collection from Cosmetics. And also this one again is like a pretty good bronzer, but I just don't feel like I need this one. So like I said, I'm pretty good for like just having one bronzer and use it all the time, so I don't think I need this one. So I think it's a declutter. And also this Addiction one, it's a very convenient like lipstick shape, but it's like a bronzer, like a cheek product. I don't reach for this one that much, so this is a declutter as well. And this is a Westermann Atelier, I don't know, the bronzer stick, contour stick. It's like a more of a cool toned color. It does work on my olive skin tone. So I'm thinking, should I keep this for now or what? And I also have a RMS bronzer, but you know what? I feel like it's pretty close, the color. Can you see it? Like the color is pretty close, but I do want to keep the RMS one. I don't know. I think maybe I can keep this for now, and then in a couple months, if I didn't reach for any of these, I probably can do like declutter them then. This Tower 28 bronzer, it's actually a pretty nice bronzer, but I just feel like sometimes I feel hesitant to use this because it's such a shimmery bronzer. I don't know if you can tell. It's so shimmery, it looks like an eyeshadow in the pan. And this bronzer, it's, if you use it in a nice way, it really looks pretty nice on your skin. But if you use it in a way that you can see the shimmer a lot, then it looks patchy sometimes. So I just don't feel like keeping this one. So that's a declutter. So now in total we have 5, and this is a maybe pile. So now I'm thinking, and including that Chanel bronzer that in my like daily drawer, but I feel like this NARS one can hardly count as one, as like, you know, how much product is in here. So I think in total I'm holding on to 5, including that Chanel one, and it's okay, I think. So yeah, and for bronzer I decluttered 7, so I think that's pretty good. Now for highlight, let me set these aside. I think powder highlight is probably a little easier for me, so I'm gonna begin with powder highlight. So this Can-Make one, it's like more of a satin highlight, and it's a lavender and pinky kind of shade. I really reached for this, so I think I'm gonna declutter this. And this is another Japanese drugstore brand. It's called Cezanne. Never know how to pronounce this. And let me swatch. It looks like a little too dark, but I remember on the cheeks it looks okay. So I don't know, I think this might be a maybe pile. And this is a Burberry. It's actually an eyeshadow, but this shade is like very good for highlight. It's like a champagne, peachy champagne kind of color. Let me compare to other similar shades. I think probably the Fenty one is gonna, well, the Fenty one is much paler, but let me swatch. Yeah, I would say you probably can't tell, but this is the Fenty one and this is the Burberry one. I think they're pretty close, so I think, yeah, the Burberry one can go. I can hold on to this Fenty one, and you can see I used quite a bit of this one. I do really love this. And the Anastasia Amrezy highlight. This is a very pretty highlight, but I do think I have a lot of like golden highlight. I want to pull all of them out and see which one I want to keep. This is the MAC Oh Darling. I think for this two, I probably prefer the Amrezy one. This sometimes is a little too dark for me, especially now I'm working from home and I rarely go outside, and my skin color has become quite a bit paler these days. So yeah, I don't think I need this anymore. It's like I can't really use it anymore. And also this double gleam color, also from MAC. It's like a pale skin color. Let me swatch against Amrezy. Well, it's a different color, so I guess this is another category that we will assess a little later. And this is NARS, what was it? I don't remember the name. A NARS highlight, but it's like a skin color as well. Actually, you know what? I don't reach for this highlight that much anymore, so I think it's okay to say goodbye to that. And this is a Bobbie Brown highlight. Actually, this is one of my favorite pinky highlight. Do I really have other pinky highlight? What about this Dior one? I think this was a golden color, yeah. It's like somewhere between golden and champagne color. I think I should change the layout a little bit. In this way, you can see a little better. The Amrezy one is the more of a golden undertone, and the Dior one is more of a champagne color, and the Bobbie Brown is more of a pinky color. So this is a Japanese brand called Exia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is a pretty pale kind of pinky color that I do really like, but I haven't used it in a long time. So it's probably the time to let it go. Because last time I did hold on to this highlight, but in the 3 months I never reached for this highlight, so I think it's okay to let it go. Bare Minerals highlight. This is actually a skin colored highlight as well. It's like more of a paler champagne color. I think it's okay to declutter this because I haven't reached for this one that much as well. I think nowadays if I really want a natural look, I probably will go for the cream or liquid, and this is like a powder kind of like a very natural highlight, so I think it's okay to let it go. This is the Clé de Pearl highlight. I actually have used it quite a bit, and this is one of my first highlights, and last time I did hold on to this because, you know, it was my first highlight. But now I really think about it. Do I really need this one? I probably do not, because I haven't reached for it in years. So I think it's the time to let it go. Another highlight is from Clinique. I think this is the one that I actually want to keep. On the skin, like swatching it, you probably cannot see it that well, but it's actually kind of a quite how to say, special color. It's like pink and orange and golden at once, and it's very subtle. There's no too strong kind of color in it, which I really like, so I'm gonna keep this. And there is another of my favorite, which is the Dior Backstage highlight, like the palette. I think this is the first one, the original one. And I feel like with this palette I can mix a lot of variation that I want. Like for golden highlight, I can just, you know, use this one, and I can create a champagne color to mix these two. And I can also mix like a paler gold with this two and a paler like pink color with this two, or even sometimes I mix all these three. The only one that I don't use that much is probably this deeper color. But I think this palette is like a very versatile palette to have. So with that in mind, I probably don't need this Dior palette, this Dior highlights, because they are both from Dior and they are quite a similar formula. If anything, I probably prefer this one a little better because it's a little thinner formula. So I don't really think I need this one as much, as I can mix a pinky highlight with this palette, and I haven't reached for this one quite a long time. And then it comes to these three. I think this Clinique, like I said, it's gonna be a keep. The MAC one. The MAC one is a little difficult. I don't know. I'm thinking, because like I said again, I'm gonna do a declutter in several months, so probably I can just hold on to these two for now and see the next time how I feel. So, and we also have this four left. This one is the one in my project pan. I'm thinking I probably should just hold on to this. But let me see if the MAC one is similar to this. Let me swatch. I guess it's not too similar, but on the skin, can you even tell? Like, I don't think you can even tell that much when it was like on your skin. And on top of that, I haven't reached for this MAC one for quite a long time, so probably better to let it go. And this highlight, I do really love this one, and I enjoy to use this, so I'm gonna keep this. And this is a very hard one. It's from Pat McGrath, and you can see it's a pretty special palette. And this one, like these two are duochrome kind of highlights that you really don't get the same kind from other brands. But the problem is, how often do I use this, right? I think I probably reach for this once every year. So this palette is probably used 2 to 3 times, and that's it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna let it go. Yeah. And that's another declutter, and this is another highlight in my project pan. It's from the brand Wet n Wild, and it's the shade Bloom Time. I think for now I'm gonna hold on to this. I haven't used this in a long time, even it was like in my project pan. I think it's time to say goodbye. No, I'm gonna keep this for now, but is this like maybe powder or something? But I do think this type of highlight I do have a lot, so maybe it's okay to let it go. Whoa, I'm only keeping 6 out of 19 powder highlight we have, which is impressive actually. But I do feel like even 6 highlight is a lot for somebody to have, and because I have this like little palette, I really can mix whatever like highlight I want. So yeah, I'm happy with this 6 to hold on to. So the cream highlight. So I have this two that's pretty similar actually. Even though it looks pretty different from the bottle, but on your skin I really feel like it was not that big of difference. And I don't really get why this like Charlotte Tilbury like flawless filter, this liquid highlight gets so much hype. It's a good product, but is it like better than everything else? I personally do not think so. I feel like I have used a lot of good liquid highlight, and I don't think this is better than everything else. It's just good, but it's not like so overly special like everybody else said. Okay, this is the I don't think you can see the shine though. This is the Lisa Eldridge one. I have the shade Cosmic Rose, and this is the Shadow Tilbury one. In person, these two are pretty similar, but I do feel like the Shadow Tilbury one is like a more of a creamy kind of finish, and the Lisa Eldridge one is more of like a watery, like dewy kind of look. It's not like so creamy kind of look. But I do have one thing that's similar. This is a Japanese brand called Addiction, and this is their cheek polish in the shade 8. It's a highlight. Okay, the camera just stopped recording. I was saying I want to keep the Shadow Tilbury one. No, I want to keep the Lisa Eldridge one and declutter the Shadow Tilbury one, which this one is in the shade 3, and the Lisa Eldridge one is in the shade Cosmic Rose. I think for this two, I prefer the Lisa Eldridge one more than the Shadow Tilbury one, as this one has like more of a dewy finish, and that's what I look for when I reach for liquid highlight. So yeah, I think that probably will shock a lot of people that I declutter this, because this is really the top favorites for a lot of people. But I get it's good, it's pretty nice, and I really like it, but it's not better than everything else out there. So yeah, I think it's okay for me to just keep one. And I do have these two from the same brand called Addiction, the Japanese department store brand. It's like more of like a NARS kind of brand. Like the aesthetic, the whole concept is very similar, but it's like more of a natural version of NARS. And let me swatch these two. I think I just want to keep one. And these two, even though they are not the same color at all, and I don't think you can see the shine that well, but it's on the skin, you barely can tell the difference. So I'm thinking I want to declutter this one and keep this like more pale golden one, because I use this one quite a bit. So I think it's better to keep this one and let somebody else to use the one, as it's like very lightly used. And this is Cover FX Custom Enhancer Jobs. I don't even think they make this anymore. I think this is discontinued. And this is such a strong highlight in a liquid form. The thing is, this is also a very pretty and also like a very good highlight, but it's like if I want to go for a very strong highlight look, I often just use powder, because those are just way easier to use, way easier to blend. And with something like this, it's very easy to like be a little bit patchy, or because sometimes if you are doing a more look like a beaming highlight, most of the time I'm doing something that's a little bit more heavier, so I probably have already powdered my skin. It's not like just a little concealer around eyes, around nose, and then I'll put this beaming highlight. That never happens. So this liquid highlight is just never coming to use that much, because every time I want to use this, I already powdered my face, and I would think, oh, let me just use it next time. And the next time never comes, because that situation just happens every time. if that makes sense. And so yeah, I think it's okay to declutter that. And this is a Chanel, what this is called, Bomb Essentiel. I can't pronounce French. It's a limited edition color, and I think it's the card OR. I like this, but I don't know if I should keep this. I think I'm gonna keep it for now because I don't really have that much of stick highlight that's like quite in this kind of finish. So yeah, I think for now I'm gonna keep it, and we will see in the next couple months how I feel about it. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in the shade Spotlight. I have removed the sponge because it's super gross. And this is a super, I won't say like super beaming highlight, but it's like stronger of a highlight. And I don't know how I feel about this. I think I want to declutter this, because whenever I reach for this, I really just am looking for a more natural kind of highlight. So I think this is a little bit too strong for my liking from a cream or liquid highlights. So yeah, I think this is a declutter. Well, I think I want to keep it for now and try another time, because on my hand it looks quite strong. I actually do not really remember how this looks on my skin. So yeah, I think I'll keep it for now, and if I didn't really like it, I'll declutter the next time. And this one, the Refi one, is like more of a golden color. I haven't give this enough chance to see what kind of like product this is, but I believe I really liked this, like the couple times I did use this. So, and this is like a very like golden kind of highlight, and it's here, and I do really like this. And this is another golden highlight I do like. It's from Nude Stick, and it's in the shade Hey Honey. This two is actually very similar, but I can't really figure out which one I like better right now. So I'm gonna keep it for now, and I'll decide a couple months later when I do my next declutter. And this is a highlight stick from Westermann Atelier. It was a little set with this highlight, this contouring stick, and there's a blush. I don't really want to keep this because it's not the kind of color that I use a lot, because it's like mostly no color but a little bit of like the blue shift. It's pretty, but yeah, it's just not something that I reach for a lot, so I don't want to keep this one. You know what, I think it's better to just declutter this little set as a whole. I'm gonna take the blush from my blush collection, and I can't really find the blush for now, but I'm gonna declutter this too, and I'll find blush later and declutter this little set as a whole. I think I should just stop buying like product that I don't know. Oh, I found the stick because it was in a different color. I missed it in the drawer. So yeah, this three little set I'm gonna declutter as a whole. Okay, the next is the RMS Living Luminizer, the super popular one a couple years ago, and still till this day a lot of people really talk about this, and I kind of forgot how I feel about this. So I'm gonna keep this for now and try a little more. I do have another one. This is the shade Magic Luminizer. This is so liquidy. I don't know why in the same line they have such a different texture. Yeah, you probably cannot tell, but I think I'm gonna use these two more to decide which one do I like more. That's that. And this is a collab between Estee Lauder and Violet on YouTube. I think I liked this highlight, but I feel like the finish on your skin is just a little bit too sticky. Yeah, so like every time I feel a little bit weird to not set this highlight, because it just feels right to set it like as how sticky it is, but like if you set it, the shine will goes away. So yeah, I think I should declutter this because I just never can hold the urge to set this product. Okay, the next is a cream highlight from the brand It Cosmetics. Like you can see, I heat pan. I think it's like a super like normal, average kind of like a cream highlight. I think in the time this was like released, this kind of product is not that common, so this did stand out quite a bit in my collection and I did use quite a bit. But right now we have so many other choices, I just don't reach for this anymore, so that's a declutter. And these are two from Colourpop. I think I only need one. I want to keep the shade Flexitarian, and I do have one that's in the other drawer. It was like a collaboration with Kathleen Lights. I think that one is quite similar to this one, so I think it's okay to keep that and declutter this. Because I have two cream highlight from the other drawers, I think I was having total of 16 of cream highlights. I think we're done. Yes, are we done? Yes, I think we're done with this. And let's see how it looks right now. Let me arrange this a little bit. Before we had 3 containers, this one and this 2, and now I can fit everything, like my bronzers and my highlight, all in this same container. So I think that's a big success. Let's see how much we have decluttered. These are the bronzers. This is 7 of the bronzers. The 7 of the bronzers we have decluttered. Let's calculate the highlight. Oh, I forgot another one. This is like a blush topper, and this was in my project pan, but I just didn't really enjoy this one anymore. So I think I want to let it go because, like I said, if I didn't like really enjoy it anymore, why would I keep it? So yeah, this is another declutter. And now let's calculate. We are in total decluttering 7 bronzers and 13 powder highlights and 7 of cream highlights. Yes, so that is in total 27 of products that I am decluttering, which is actually way better than I thought in the beginning. And I am really happy now. I have like way more curated kind of collection that I really know what I have. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.